Hi everyone, Tori here with another scrapbooking process video called Let Me Count the Ways. And today I'm using this really beautiful paper from We Are Memory Keepers. It's called Count the Ways and it came in the Studio Calico Flying Trapeze add-on that I got this month. And it sort of was the inspiration behind this page because I really wanted to do a layout about my parents, my mom and dad, Melody and Scott, and sort of count the ways that I love them, which is sort of what I think probably the inspiration behind this paper is as well. So I began by trimming off a 1/4 inch on two of the sides, and now I'm going to do something a little different for me. I'm going to try some mixed media. I've been watching a lot of mixed media process videos and they really inspired me, so I went out and I purchased some molding paste. This molding paste is from Golden Gel Medium's light molding paste, and I just grabbed some with an old Starbucks credit card or gift card, and then I'm going to mix it with some dye or some color, and then I'm going to be putting it on the page with a stencil. So I used this Spring Sky ink dabber from Mr. Huey's and squeezed that color onto just some parchment paper, and I'm mixing that in with the gift card, just getting that nice bluish teal color in the molding paste. Just because I didn't want to use white, I wanted to go with a little more color. So it really turned out really well, and this molding paste is so easy to use. If you haven't done mixed media and it's something you want to try, really, it's actually really fun, and I love how it worked out on the page. So I would say just go for it. Really, even if you make a mistake, it's just a piece of paper. You can get another one. So I'm using this polka dot stencil, and I don't have a package for this. I think it comes from Heidi Swap, but I really couldn't tell you. So sorry, but I know that there are lots of polka dot stencils, so I'll see if I can link up some in the description below that you could use. Now, I knew that I wanted to use a photo of my mom and dad on this page, and I wanted to place that photo right above that green, almost highlighted part that says Let Me Count the Ways. So I wanted to add the molding paste sort of around where the photo would lay, and also some other places on the page just to add some dimension. It really doesn't take anything away from that background paper, it just sort of adds this subtle detail that when you're sort of looking at the page, it looks really fun, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and I think it was a great trial for me as I start to practice more with mixed media and with molding paste and things like that, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while but have just been sort of terrified of doing. So I don't know, I'm really glad I tried it. I love the detail and the just added dimension it adds to my page. This is my second mixed media page ever. I made one more page before this, but I'm not really happy with the way that it turned out. So I did try to make a video, but I don't know if I'm going to post it just because I am not happy. But I don't know, I think the more I practice, maybe the better I'll get and the easier it'll be for me to know what works and what looks good and what doesn't. So if you have any tips or if you know of any really awesome YouTubers and you want to link those up for me, that would be really awesome. The two people that are so inspiring me right now are Nicole Jones 911 and Irene Landgraf. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, but they inspire me so much, and that's why I really wanted to try something new. So I let that dry for a little while, and I'm back. I'm going to sort of finish up the layout now with all the other parts that I'm putting on it, or actually make a layout. So I'm using this awesome photo of my mom and dad, and this was taken while we were at dinner once. It was just the three of us, and I just sort of loved how they were looking at each other, and my dad had this goofy expression on his face, which is totally him, and how my mom was just smiling and loving on him. And I just really love this picture, and it needed a layout. So I'm excited to be scrapbooking it. I'm using some black cardstock here to do a mat for my paper, and I'm just gutting the middle of it just because I didn't want the whole thing. I just wanted just the edges, and that way I could save some of that black cardstock and use it for something else or use it to mat my photo. And I'm using X-Press-It double-sided tape here to mat my pattern paper to that black cardstock. And then I just center it on there and pat it down, and then I'm going to begin doing the rest of the things for the layout. And I knew that I wanted to use that photo of my parents, and then I knew that I wanted to mat it because that's just something that I don't know, I have to do every single time or something. So I grabbed that black cardstock that I had gutted and made a tiny trim around it. And then I wanted some more layers, but I didn't want them to take away from the really pretty background. So I decided to just use a couple layers of vellum and just sort of layer it up so that it sort of gave me that layered look that I'm really enjoying right now, but didn't necessarily do anything or take away from the background. And I believe I'm going to mat it about 3 times, although not perfectly because I was just using up those scraps of vellum. And the rest of the layout is going to be pretty simple in terms of the number of embellishments I put on the page, just because I wanted, one, the paper to stand out, I wanted the molding piece that I'd put on there, and then the photo to really stand out. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to start doing the major journaling piece for this page, and I decided to use these pink label tags that came in the scrapbooking kit this month, and they're numbered 1 to 32, and they're this really beautiful pink. And I knew when I started this page that I wanted to use these somewhere on the page and put down 32 things that I loved about my mom and my dad and their relationship. And so I'm going to be using those. And I just used a regular black pen to write on them and write down all those things. And I think it's such a fun element for a page that has like counting and let me count the ways on the pattern paper. And I'm going to try to figure out how to lay these out on the page. But while I'm doing that, I thought I might read you some of them just so you could sort of get an idea of how I had done it. I started each of the tags with mom or dad or mom and dad. And I wrote down things that I loved about my mom, things that I loved about my dad, and then things that I loved about both of them. So I'll just read some of them for you. Mom, I love how hardworking you are. Dad, I love how funny you are. Mom and Dad, I love that you always worked hard for our family. Mom, I love that you binge watch TV. It's cute. Dad, I love that you tell the same jokes over and over again. Mom and Dad, I love that you both serve the Lord. Mom, I love that you teach with such passion and conviction. Dad, I love that you want to see change. Mom and Dad, I love that you're different. Mom, I love spending time with you. Dad, I love when you call me Squiggle. Mom and Dad, I love that you're a great example of love. Mom, I love that you're such a kind boss. Dad, I love when you play with Max, our dog. Mom and Dad, I love that you make each other laugh. Mom, I love how fashionable you are. Dad, I love making dumplings with you. Mom and Dad, I love watching you do dishes together. I love that you make the best turkey gravy ever. I love when you cook and try new combinations. I love when you tuck each other in. I love how much you love God. I love that you love people. I love that you support each other. I love how you would go to the ends of the earth for us. Dad, I love hearing you sing Swing Low. I love when you look at each other like that. I love that you started our Bible study and oversee it. I love that you will always defend me. I love that you've been married for almost 30 years. Mom, I love that you started your own business. And Dad, I love when you buy flowers for Mom. It was actually really fun for me to write down 32 things that I loved about them, because it's not very often that you just sit down and think about all the reasons that you love the people that you love in your life. So after that, after I had written all of those, I tried to decide what to or how to put them on the page. And I ended up deciding to use this vellum pocket that I received in a Studio Calico kit a few months ago. It's not available anymore, but any type of envelope or pocket would work well for a similar technique. And I stuck all of those 32 tabs or tags, I don't know what you call those, in that pocket. And then I grabbed a black tag from the Flying Trapeze add-on and just some pretty ribbon that's sort of like an off-white color that I had in my stash. and I just attached that ribbon through there just to add a little more dimension and something pretty on there. And then I grabbed my Signo Uniball white gel pen and started drawing on that black tag. And I decided to write the number 32 because that's how many pink labels there were, and write 32 ways, ... as in there are 32 ways that I love you. And then I am going to add the title I love you to this page, but I thought it would be cute that the label would say 32 ways and then it would say I love you. And I think it's really works well with the background because the background says let me count the ways, and then here I've labeled off 32 ways that I really love them. So I just grabbed some hot glue and I just stuck that down over top of that vellum pocket, and now I'm going to start working on the title. And like I said, I knew that I wanted the title to be I love you, so I was going to use this black cardstock to make the title, and originally I thought I'd hand cut the letters. So I'm counting how many letters I need, and then I'm just going to cut the black cardstock down into this size that I think I'm going to use. I don't end up hand cutting the letters, I end up doing something a little different, but I do still use these little pieces of black cardstock. So what I decided to do instead of hand cutting the letters is using the Dear Lizzie Soar thickers that came in the Flying Trapeze add-on this month and that I had extra of in my stash. And I'm going to use those and place those on top of the black cardstock and then cut around that and then put that down for my title. The reason I put it on the black cardstock is just because I knew these letters would not pop on that light background because they're also a light color, but I really wanted to use them because I love the font and the style, but I thought it would be nice if they're on the black background because I am using black on the page. It'll help them pop out, and it'll just really add some contrast. So I fussy cut around that, added an exclamation mark, and then I'm going to use my hot glue gun to just glue those down to the page. And just stick them down one by one. And I love that title. I love that it's big and bold. It draws your attention to it, and it works with the background and also that tag that says 32 ways. And when I was done with that, I decided to add my final touches of embellishments and other things. And I'm going to grab these black label stickers, and the one I'm grabbing says this and that. And I'm going to put it on that page just at the bottom of the photo of my mom and my dad. And then I'm just going to dig through here and see if there's anything else that I want to use or anything that's the right color. And I decided to use this really pretty wood veneer piece that says warm and fuzzy. And I'm also going to use that plastic love circle. So I decided that I wanted to just add some more of that blue or teal color, and that love works really well to do that. I struggled with where to put it, but in the end I decided to just put it right above that little envelope, that vellum envelope there, just to add some more blue there and draw attention to those 32 pink labels that have all the reasons that I love my parents. And in the end, I'm really happy that it added that extra blue and it draws more more intention and attention to that area. And then once I'm done, I'm going to hot glue gun that wood veneer down too. In just a moment, my camera is going to shut off, and it missed a couple things. I just ran out of space on my iPhone, but I added a white or off-white flower resin piece. I also added some more of that white gel pen along the edges of that tag and around the outside of the page. I have some still photos at the end which you can see, which include those as well. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.